Today we are talking about our Q4 solutions and going into our Q1 2024 solutions as well. What we'll be doing today is just doing a brief kind of overview of these products, taking a look at some of the technical specs, and then taking just a little bit more of a dive into some of the kind of use cases, product scenarios, and how you can really utilize these devices, market them, and sell them as well. So for those who may not be totally familiar with us, and it's always a good thing that I like to bring up. Grandstream, we've been around and have been connecting the world for over 21 years now. It all really did start with just a simple analog telephone adapter and an IP phone. Yet our mission has always remained the same when it comes to how we develop our products and what we aim to do. We strive to connect the world and to make communication and network technology more obtainable and effective for everyone. That's always a big part of it. We want to take that technology, enterprise grade features, and make it more obtainable and effective. We want to make it better, and we want to make it accessible for everyone on the market, which is always a main focus of us here at Grandstream. And then just as a quick reminder too, the products and upcoming solutions I'm going to be mentioning within the presentation, these are all in development. So some technical specs, capabilities, other details, maybe even down to the model design, these are not guaranteed. So just always, kind of keep that in mind moving forward. So like I said, for this presentation overview, we're just going to be talking real quick about the convergence of Grandstream's portfolio, kind of what does that mean and what is Grandstream doing when it comes to how we decide about the products that we're going to be creating. And we'll be covering our upcoming products and discussing their deployment scenarios. So what does it mean when, I mentioned convergence of Grandstream's portfolio? Well, what this means is one brand, one solution. A huge goal of our brand and of our products that we are developing is we want to bridge together the unified communications, Wi-Fi, and network product lines. Some of the recent ways that we've been doing this is with our launches of our unmanaged layer 2, layer 3 switches. We basically want these solutions to come together. So you as either our distribution partners, our service providers, or if our installers are in here, our resellers, all of these solutions throughout the entire channel, you are all benefiting from a single brand IT infrastructure that you are selling, marketing, and installing. So there's a lot of benefits that come along with this. It's easier to sell and market. So when it comes to these solutions, it's easier to either go as our distribution partners that are in here to your resellers, to your who you're marketing to lower throughout the channel and tell them, hey, we got a great single solution here from Grandstream. Everything's manageable from the cloud. Everything can be grouped together. Great features, etc. When it comes to our installers who are here, maybe our IT experts, it streamlines the installation and design process, along with any ongoing management or troubleshooting that you need to deal with as well. Then, last but not least, everything that we have and have been releasing, I should say more so, it's focused on that cloud management, having Grandstream Device Management System or GWN.cloud for their management options, which is great for group configuration and troubleshooting of our devices. It's a huge selling point that we've been told, and it makes things way easier for our actually installations. Let's move on to some of the products here. Just kind of start to take a little bit of a look at what's coming up. Looking at our unified communications line, we're going to be discussing our GRP 2601 Wi-Fi desktop phone that's actually launching, I believe, this week here. Our new DECT base station. We finally have a new FXO gateway coming out. I know that's been something that some more niche deployment providers have been asking for a bit, along with more new high-end sort of hotel phones after our original hotel phones have really been a hit. So diving into that, so looking at the GRP2601W, this is literally, yes, you will get a recording. Don't worry. Sorry, 2601W. This is a carrier grade Wi-Fi desktop phone. If you've deployed our GRP 2600 series before, you'd be very familiar with a lot of the features they provide. This is literally just a Wi-Fi version of the GRP 2601 that we already have. So the standard two SIP accounts, two lines on this base model device with two 100 megabit per second network ports and 2.4G single band Wi-Fi 6, along with secure boot, random default password, unique security certificates, dual firmware image, and of course GDMS cloud manageable for easy deployments, management, and troubleshooting. There's some pretty solid deployment options and scenarios when it comes to this device. The main opportunity, though, with this is the low price point and the essential features within this sort of Wi-Fi desktop device. This one is really ideal for those that sort of bid on various different options. It's definitely a bid winner for certain deployments. But we're looking towards offices, schools, hotels, and more that can utilize this device for both low call volume desktops and for more price sensitive deployments, which may be ideal depending on the region. This is especially true when it comes to schools, especially in specific regions where the low price point will help installers or resellers or IT teams win bids and win selections. And especially along with the Wi-Fi capabilities, allow for low Ethernet infrastructure deployments. So we're kind of looking towards older buildings that are updating and renovating their offering. Perhaps they can only have those traditional analog cables, so wiring Ethernet may be a bit of a difficulty there. So the less Ethernet, the better when it comes to the deployment. Wi-Fi makes that possible along with eco-friendly deployments, or at the end, more wireless-focused solutions. All right, and that will actually be releasing the GRP 2601, as I mentioned, should be releasing this week. So looking towards our DECT station, we have a new DECT base station coming out, the DP 755, and this will be releasing in September. But this has 20 concurrent calls, which is a massive upgrade compared to our previous uh, base station, and up to 10 DECT handsets. Of course, this device comes with secure boot, the random default password, unique security certificate that is important with all deployments, along with the dual firmware images and being GDMS cloud manageable. So when it comes to this device and our deployments that we're looking at, it doubles the amount of DP deck handsets when compared to our DP752, along with quadrupling concurrent calls. So the DP755 is definitely ideal for the small to medium businesses or commercial deployments that require up to 10 cordless handsets with a medium coverage range. So this device would be used over our DP752 deployment when you would require additional handsets, additional sort of call volume with the 20 concurrent calls being supported throughout the cell. Of course, anything larger, you definitely want to look towards our Wi-Fi cordless handsets. Excuse me. And of course, these devices are GNMS manageable, which allows for easy mass deployment configuration, which is great for our service providers as well. All right, looking towards our FXO gateway. So this is an upgrade on our previous FXO gateway. Hugh, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think our old FXO even maybe has our old logo on it. So this is definitely an upgrade that's been a long time coming here. So we have four to eight port FXO ports with this device, with a single FXS lifeline and fax port with two gigabit ports on the device. We have secure boot, random default password, those unique security certificates, dual firmware images, which helps with any kind of redundancy when it comes to upgrading the firmware. And of course, big upgrade on this GDMS Cloud Manageable, which is great when it comes to the mass deployment of these devices into more traditional settings. So looking at some of our capabilities with this and deployment scenarios, the GDMS cloud management is definitely a really big deal when it comes to these devices, because it really allows for the mass deployment and the flexibility of our FXO gateway offering, whereas prior, this, of course, was really kind of not a big possibility. So the gateway itself can be deployed throughout a uh, large amount of more traditional, maybe low access or low internet deployments can still be configured. But this allows for integration of existing PSTN and POT lines with the IPPX and IP endpoint deployment. So putting this device into a deployment allows for them to take advantage of an existing PSTN and POTS lines, but still being able to upgrade internal communications that rely on an IP-based infrastructure, which obviously gives a large variety of upgrades, as we all know, over traditional analog infrastructure. So this is great primarily as an emergency fallback option. In the case of network downage, you'd still be able to connect to traditional PSTN or POTS lines and have a hot swap over. Or for organizations and companies that may not even have ITSP access yet, but still want to take advantage of the benefits of IP devices. All right, so our upgraded GHP carrier grade hotel phones. So these devices are a big upgrade within our GHP line that people have been asking for, especially with the the color LCD screen, which is definitely the sort of big prime factor when it comes to this, especially when it comes to how easy it is to customize the device, along with our the 6 configurable soft keys on the bottom there. This device does come with 2.4G and 5G dual band Wi-Fi 6 connectivity, along with, like I said, these 6 programmable keys at the bottom. The Wi-Fi 6 standard on this device to be able to connect to a Wi-Fi, finally a GHP with an LCD screen. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more on that, you. This device really can exist in a Wi-Fi environment, despite maybe not having its own dedicated access point. The Wi-Fi 6 connectivity makes it a lot more able to exist in Wi-Fi deployments. So looking towards some of our deployment scenarios on this is more high-end design when it comes to our GHP devices. With LCD screen is the big part here, which allows for major device customization. This is incredibly important when it comes to more high-end deployments. So looking at resorts and hotels primarily along with the dual band Wi-Fi 6 connectivity. This really enables the device to carry a more stable and reliable connection off of hotel Wi-Fi access points. So with this sort of connection capability, as I was just mentioning, really don't need the Wi-Fi access point in every single room. So for maybe updating an IP deployment of devices, you can be confident with these GHP devices that once you deploy them into rooms, they will experience the sort of positive uh, call experience that users and guests would expect. And of course, the GDMS integration on this is huge, especially if you're deploying to resorts and hotels, because we could be talking to upwards of 300, 400, 500 devices, which I'm sure none of us here want to go through and configure those one by one. So obviously, this allows for both IT staff and installers to quickly and efficiently mass provision and configure all of these devices at the same time, along with the ongoing configuration as well. Okay, so kind of shifting our lens here on our second half of the presentation. So we're going to be looking towards Wi-Fi and networking solutions here. We have 3 great new Wi-Fi access points that are coming. One of them is Wi-Fi 6E, which I know has been asked about for a bit. We have a layer 2 light managed access switches, just a 16 port layer 3 managed access switch, which is a new addition to our layer 3 devices, and a layer 3 managed aggregation switch that is upcoming as well. All right, so let's take a look into some of those access points real quick here. So with the GWN 7665, so this is an enterprise Wi-Fi 6E indoor access point. So this is our first 6E access point that Grandstream is coming to in the market. So it of course runs at 802.11ax, and we have 2 by 2 on the 2.4 gig, 2 by 2 on the 5 gig, and 2 by 2 on the 6. This device does have one 2.5 gig Ethernet to allow for greater data flow with these devices. That does have PoE and PoE Plus to power the device, along with a gigabit Ethernet port for any sort of pass-through connection, as is common with all of our other Wi-Fi access points. So it does have AX 5400, which does support HE160 efficiency, with which increases the capability of these devices to operate in larger, more concurrent device deployments. And it does have BLE for any kind of IoT and app integration that you may need with the device, which is great. Definitely a big increase when it comes to our Wi-Fi offering. Pretty standard 175-meter coverage range, like most of our indoor devices, and up to 384 concurrent clients. Yeah, exactly. Definitely a big increase on this with the 6 gig spectrum, 6 gigahertz spectrum. So taking a quick look now, we have the GWN 7660E LR. So this is sort of an alternative version of our GWN series 7660 LR. So this Wi-Fi 6 outdoor access point is pretty similar when it comes to our 7660. I'm not going to read through everything here. Um, but definitely the sort of major changes is within the Wi-Fi performance with the AX3000, which is upgraded from the AX180. Our wireless bandwidth going to HE160 on the device. With the antenna as well, with this device now being internal, which is not without purpose, because the protection on this goes to an IP 67 weatherproofing up from the traditional IP66. So the primary use case with this device is definitely in the larger sort of more intense deployment scenarios, which we'll be talking about a little bit here, where weather can be a significant issue that could have prevented traditional GWN 7660 LR deployments previously. Okay, and looking at the last access point that we have coming up here is our enterprise Wi-Fi 6 GWN 7660E. So once again, this is a sort of more horizontal movement with the GWN 7660. Excuse me. So once again, our Wi-Fi capabilities and the wireless bandwidth are being adjusted here. But looking at the main difference with this is the singular gigabit Ethernet with PoE and PoE Plus options with this device, along with a small change in antenna gain. So this is a great device when it comes to having an option that is Wi-Fi 6 capabilities, that is this sort of strong channel bandwidth and power at a little bit more of an efficient price point when it comes to specifically our GWN 7660, which has been a huge, huge success within the market. So looking at some quick deployment scenarios with these devices, looking at the GWN 7665, this is our first 6E access point. So this obviously delivers incredibly powerful Wi-Fi networks throughout any deployments that you may have. Our GWN 7660E increases the coverage range, provides a 2.5 gig SFP port for greater data transfer within this device, and of course IP67 weatherproofing, which is ideal when it comes to more sort of violent deployments, outdoor employments. So looking in regions that have may have more uh, you know violent weather, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The word I was looking for kind of lost it, but any kind of major weather concerns. And then, of course, the GWN 7660E provides a 5 gig on the 3x3 antenna, um, and a singular PoE and network port, which provides a more cost-effective solution when it comes to our GWN 7660 offering. This kind of excuse me, these these devices will be releasing roughly throughout Q4 of 2023, throughout Q1 of 2024. So you could be looking for those then. All right, so wrapping it up now with the presentation, let's take a look at some of our switches here. So the layer 2 light managed access switches will be releasing soon. The GWN 7710R will be releasing roughly within Q1 2024, both these devices. The GWN 7710R, this device is ideal because it has actual IP67 weatherproofing. So this is an outdoor device that can operate from -40 to -60 degrees. This is in Celsius operating temperature, and has IP66 weatherproofing. So this is a great new opportunity when it comes to our layer 2 managed access switches, especially when we're kind of looking at farms and other outdoor deployments, which I'll be touching on here in the next slide. And then the GWN 7711 and 7711P, which has an 8x gigabit configurable ports with 4 PoE and PoE output, and of course is cloud manageable, configurable, and is also a new lower cost offering when it comes to our layer 2 access devices. All right, so just quick outdoor, deployment scenarios when it comes to this. The GWN 7710R, like I said, this device is a great opportunity now when it comes to outdoor deployments. So we're looking at outdoor layer 2 switch deployments for farms, industrial yards, logistics warehouse, and more, where you may not have that central server room, or you may have an opportunity where you can't deploy it there. So like I said, it does have that IP66 weatherproofing with an operating range of -40 degrees Fahrenheit, that's -40 Celsius, to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 60 degrees Celsius. So definitely a great device when it comes to providing network coverage and capabilities of a layer 2 light managed switch within these more rigorous deployments. Rigorous is the word I was looking for earlier. So it does have long haul options as well, which is a little bit more common within these deployments that you may need, which will have up to 200-meter cables at 10 megabits per second. It, of course, is wall and pole mountable. All right. And the GWN 7711 and 7711P. So the light managed switch here, this of course for indoor deployments, but pretty simple when it comes to deployment scenario here. Provides light layer 2 functionality at a lower price point for our more cost conscious deployments, or even our deployments that may not need in-depth management options that come with our layer 2 plus devices. So definitely a great option for those very kind of more small commercial deployments, small to medium businesses that may not need these super in-depth network management options that come with our layer 2 plus or layer 3 switches. All right, so I'm just going to jump through this one real quick because it doesn't require too much detail. We do have a 16-port layer 3 managed access switch coming up, the GWN 7816. and the GWN 7816P. Excuse me. So this device will have up to 48 gigabit ports with 6 SFP plus and is stackable, which is definitely a big point of these devices. Just realized I was supposed to say 48 ports. My bad. Um, but nevertheless, this is just a new addition to our already released Layer 3 managed access devices, just with a now large amount of ports, SFP capability, and stackability. Okay. And last but not least, taking one more look at the last upcoming product here is our Layer 3 managed aggregation switch. So this is an aggregation switch for customizing your network and bringing various nodes all together into a singular device. So standard for this series will be dual firmware imagery, 6K to 4K surge protection, which is of course incredibly important for reliability of these devices on our power and network port respectively. And of course, the 16 and 12 ESD protection as well, just to ensure the full reliability of your network and making sure it will not be going down. So with these devices, we're going to have the GWN 7830, the GWN 7831, and the GWN 7832. You'll notice with most of these devices, they do have the full SFP ports, along with the 2 network ports, all the way down to then also offering optional redundant power supplies just to ensure the full uptime of these devices. All right, so I'm not going to read through all of this. I just want to have a quick sort of overview of our aggregation switches here, just so everyone can take a very fast look at the at comparing these devices. So I'll just let you take a quick look at this, everyone. And just as a reminder too, I will be sending out this presentation afterwards, and it will be available on YouTube. So if I maybe flip through this slide a bit too fast, you will be able to view it there. And of course, these devices will be launching within around Q4 2023, so Q4 of this year. Okay, all right. So on to our last update that I have for you all here. So we do have a large firmware release coming up for our switches, which I definitely want to mention here. So this firmware release will actually be coming here in September, so pretty soon. So it will provide on all models, PVST and PVST Plus, Q and Q, VLAN mapping and translation, advanced ACL, MAC protocol-based VLAN, and DHCP-v6 snooping. All a massive upgrade when it comes to these devices. And all right, I should be back. Sorry, man, audio issues here, guys. I know I switched my headset because my mic wasn't working. I didn't notice it's a wireless headset, so then it was like, oh hey, your battery just died. I'm like, oh that's great. Um, sorry about that, everyone. All right, anyway, so definitely a huge upgrade when it comes to all of our models. Looking at the firmware release when it comes to our Layer 3 models specifically, we will have 1588 version 2, RIP and RIPNG, and OSPF, which all provide great new network capabilities with these devices. So just taking a quick, kind of more detailed look into these sort of features. The PVST and PVST Plus, we know is a Cisco proprietary protocol versus the standard MST. And this is per the VLAN tree protocol. So this will allow some interoperability with Cisco switches and existing deployments, which will definitely expand the way that you can choose how to deploy our Grandstream devices, especially if it comes to either upgrading any sort of existing networks that utilizes Cisco switches or possibly slowly replacing those. The Q and Q with VLAN mapping, definitely a huge feature that has been asked for here. Q and Q tunneling and VLAN mapping will allow our service providers to create a layer 2 Ethernet connection between two sites, or even additionally, any of our installers that are looking to put in multi-site deployments. So this will allow you to segregate or bundle customer traffic into fewer VLANs or different VLANs, helping you just make a cleaner network deployment between various sites and keeping everything connected together. This definitely helps streamline the process, along with allowing you to better partition these networks as well. And last but not least, the MAC and protocol-based VLAN. So this will allow you to create those VLAN networks and have devices connected to a single Ethernet link. Will be assigned to different VLANs depending on their MAC addresses. So this enables different VLAN assessment based on our network protocols as well. So if we have, for example, a VoIP phone passing an Ethernet connection to a PC, and you do not want these to exist on the same VLAN. Obviously, if you're trying to create a VoIP VLAN and then one for any kind of desktop devices, you will be able to partition these into separate VLANs very soon here, which is huge when it comes to troubleshooting any kind of network issues. All right, everyone. So just kind of last slide that I wanted to put up here. Like I mentioned earlier, the huge goal that we have, it's all about converging our deployments. We want to be able to offer that singular one brand solution um, with more devices, more interoperability, and more capabilities. Something that allows everyone throughout our channel to benefit, which is great for everyone. Okay, everyone. So despite some of our audio issues here at the start, thank you all so much for attending today's meeting. I believe Hugh got to pretty much all the questions here. If any of the ones he did not get to, I'll hit him up in a message. We will also have these questions answered when I shoot out the email that will have the presentation slides and the recording that I will have probably a little bit either later today or tomorrow. You'll be able to access that there. But I appreciate everyone stopping by to talk about our upcoming solutions. There's definitely a lot more coming too that I'm very excited to talk about, but unfortunately I cannot yet. But definitely keep an eye out next quarter for another one of these sneak peek presentations where we'll be talking about more. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Please take care.